There are few things in this world that are better than a pre-dawn start into the high country. And in this case, I'm packing into a wilderness area that I haven't packed into for 30 years. And at that point, it was with Scott and our sister Rachel. And this time it's me and Rocky, which is good. Rocky has a better nose and ears than I do for what might be about in this country. And the nice thing about that early start is I've gained several hundred feet of elevation, and it's still relatively cool. So yeah, I am feeling really good to be here, and I'm gonna just keep climbing till I get to a spot that that looks like what I'm looking for. Let's see if I can pick up on this little pine marten sitting over here on this log. There it is. Because this is wetter country, I'm optimizing my load. I'm only carrying like a quart, well, and 3/4. It was supposed to be 2 quarts, but I ended up with not both canteens I needed. Anyhow, I'm carrying a lot less water than normal, which saves weight, but it means I stop more often, but there's nothing wrong with that either. Once again though, it's not so much water that I could dip it into a bag or something. I got to pull out of like a little inch or two deep little pool here into my canteen, so that's that. Rightly or wrongly, when I'm looking at bear poop, trying to figure out what size of bear it was, I look at the diameter of it. Figure a bigger bear is going to have a larger diameter poop. And by that measure, this is a pretty decent sized bear walking around up here. The grade is such here that I'm taking a breath with every left footfall. So, needs lots of stops, which is what it is, and lets me take a look at the country. That breeze feels nice on my bare skin. My shirt is completely soaked, drying off on a bush down here. This looks like one of those days where I'm not gonna make it all the way into camp on one go. There's a spot on the map up here called Paradise Valley, and I'd have stopped earlier if I found Paradise beforehand, but there haven't even really been any places on this mountain to pitch a tent. I've been moving for like 4 hours pretty continuously, other than that water stop, and climbed over 2,000 feet of vert. Looks like I've probably done 75% of the work it'll take to get up to Paradise Valley, but I'm just ready to take a break, get some fuel in me, and even Rocky is plenty happy to lay down. And I sat down here and found this deer jawbone, which was kind of cool to, I don't know, you stop somewhere and you find something. That's a neat thing. So, time for some food. Well, I feel like a whole new man after that rest break. And here's some water for Rocky, to the extent he needs it. You can see this country's pretty steep. Thankfully, I mean, this is a place where I wouldn't really want to be off trail, just on account of such a steep hillside, and side hilling would be a pain, but there's a nice little trail cut in through here all the way up that really doesn't have any traffic on it. One guy on a horse, or one person on a horse, I think is all I've really seen any evidence of. More evidence of bear traffic here, and pretty doggone good track trap. There's really no good passage through here except for on the trail, and the trail goes on goes through this spring. Right time of day, this would be a mosquito magnet. Just right now, though, it's idyllic. And I got to cross on that log right there. Well, this does indeed appear to be a paradise of a valley. You know I'm going to have to go up to the, at least to the divide up here, to where I can see the far end of it. That looks like a likely spot to make camp up there on the high ground, but we'll just meander up there and see. Morris Kohansky famously said, "The more you know, the less you carry." Well, in the case of me and this shotgun, I'm carrying it because I'm low on the what I know curve in this country. I average 10 bear sightings a year. You know, some years a lot more, some years a little less. And some of those encounters are at long range, doesn't make any difference, but I have a fair number of, you know, interactions with bears, so I got a pretty good idea about bear behavior. The catch on that is that those are all Colorado black bears, and well, for the most part. I mean, I see some grizzlies. The grizzly I saw in Alaska acted just like a Colorado black bear. You know, this was in the backcountry, and he literally tried to sneak away from me after I passed the willow thicket he was in. And based on all that experience, I'm not at all worried about bears. But this is different country here. Three things about this area tell me that I'm kind of low down on the curve, the knowledge curve for now. First of all, it's common knowledge, has been for years, that the problem bears from Yellowstone and Grand Teton get relocated to this adjacent wilderness area. So, you know, it's a known spot for bears that are habituated and in trouble. Second, I have been told that a wildlife biologist got killed in this drainage by a grizzly bear. I didn't check it. I don't know the details. Maybe it's apocryphal. I don't know. But the third thing is, a handful of weeks ago, I had an interaction with a young, an adolescent bear, basically, down at the very bottom of this drainage. And that bear had an air of defiance about it that I'm not accustomed to in bears. And a friend and I finally ran it off with a couple of air horns, which was fine, but those three things together basically told me that I wanted to ramp up my capability for this trip. Hopefully I, get enough experience in this country that I don't have to carry this thing, or don't feel like it's appropriate to carry it or needful, because carrying a long gun's a pain in the butt, and keeping it around you in camp is a pain in the butt. But at any rate, for now, I'm carrying this shotgun. The reason, in a lot of ways, I'd prefer, my 44 lever action, smaller, lighter, more compact, great little handy carbine. Two reasons that I'm carrying the shotgun. First off, the ability to use these rubber buckshot rounds, it hopefully would give me an opportunity to basically end a situation without bloodshed, because I don't want to kill a bear at all. So that's something a shotgun can do that the 44 can't. And then, you know, if you end up in that situation, a 12 gauge with Brennicky slugs is pretty definitive and has been for years. So that's why I'm carrying this thing. For all of you gun nerds, I know I'm going to have to answer these questions, so I'll just lay it out now. It's a Beretta A300. I was able to get the Canada Legal 5+1 version. I added the Nordic Systems +2 to it, which of course I can convert it back to Canada Legal should I go to Canada. Got the Surefire, I think they call that the Mini Scout. It's nice because it rotates to wherever you want it to be. The shotgun cards are by S-Tac. Those are the Velcro back shotgun shell carriers. And then I did add the Aridus low profile T2 mount, where basically you can co-witness the irons, and they are irons on this, unlike the stock. You can co-witness them in the bottom of the T2. So that's what, oh, and then the other thing is I, with a Dremel tool, cut a M-lock slot right into the toe of this thing here so that I could run a relatively short sling and African carry it, which is that, you know, muzzle down over your offside shoulder. And the nice thing about African carry is it's, you know, as demonstrated to us by Randy Kane in his practical rifle course, at 25 yards, you can get a round on target accurately, reasonable amount faster with an African carry rifle over a pistol in an open top holster. So it's a quick way to get something into action, and this way that I've been carrying, it's actually been working out pretty doggone well. I'm using like an ITW pick rail thing, basically just for a shoulder set up top, and then on the bottom the sling goes around my my canteen rifle behind the canteen, sling in front. It just kind of keeps it in place, but yet it's very quick to deploy. So that's what this is about. Hope to spend enough time in this country to develop a level of confidence, or a level of experience that tells me that the bears here are reasonable, you know, like all the other bears that I have experience with. But until then, I'm plussed up a little bit. Lots of talking about a gun, but there it is.